Have you ever wondered how Vox turns seemingly boring topics into binge-worthy videos that rack up millions of views? You might immediately think it's because of their flashy, eye-catching visuals, but there's a much less obvious quality behind Vox's success. So in this video, I'm going to show you how Vox turns complex ideas into easy, digestible content, the storytelling tricks that make their videos irresistible, and how you can use these strategies to elevate your own videos even without fancy visuals or animations. And if you want to level up your writing skills like Vox, here's a free plug-and-play cheat sheet you can use for your videos, link in the description below. So the first thing Vox does to keep you watching is engage your senses. Think about the last time you got completely lost in a good movie or book. It wasn't just the story that hooked you, but the little details where you can feel the tension in the room, taste the saltiness of the ocean air, or hear the satisfying crackles coming from a fire. Watch this clip and see what Vox is doing when they describe how Olympic divers make the perfect tiny splash in the pool.
As they approach the water, athletes extend their body into a needle-like line, with their toes pointed, knees locked, abs tight, arms up and hyperextended over their heads, elbows pressing tight into their ears, and, most importantly, their hands in this position.
In addition to the visual breakdown of the diver, Vox uses vivid sensory language to help you feel what it's like to be in the diver's position. They describe the physical sensations of the toes being pointed, the abs tight, elbows pressing, making you mentally simulate the experience. This is called sensory storytelling, and it's a powerful way to make abstract concepts more concrete and memorable. Our senses pull us deeper into stories, and that's exactly what Vox does to keep viewers hooked. Vox knows that complex facts and topics won't stick with you, but when they're wrapped in sensory storytelling, things click more easily. It's like how a parent sneakily mixes vegetables with their kids' favorite foods. The unwanted healthy stuff, specifically in this case complex information, becomes more enjoyable when it's blended with familiar comfort foods and flavors. And also in this case, that would be the sensory elements, turning what kids might have originally rejected into an exciting meal they can't wait to have. With Vox showing how they've mastered the art of simplifying complex ideas without oversimplifying them. Simplifying doesn't mean dumbing things down or skipping over important details. What Vox does is break down overwhelming information into the essentials while making you feel smart and not talked down to. So when you use sensory details in your videos, viewers remember your content because they can actually feel what you're talking about. So let me show you how to do this in 3 easy steps. The first thing you want to think about is, what do you want your viewers to understand? Start with your main topic or question you want to explore. For Vox, they want viewers to understand how Olympic divers create tiny splashes, with their core question being, how do they make it look so effortless compared to the average person? Next, list out the key moments or ideas, taking note of what your viewers might struggle with understanding. Vox's breakdown involves going over the diver's speed, their body position, types of splashing, and other things. Vox recognized that viewers would struggle to visualize and understand the movements happening in quick split seconds of a dive happening, in which they followed on the next step that you need to finally do. And that's adding sensory details and linking them to relevant moments of what you want them to understand. And you do this by making invisible things visible, in which when you can't physically see something like underwater physics or how ingredients impact flavor, for example, you can help viewers visualize things with detailed descriptions. You can also add sensory details by using familiar sensations to explain unfamiliar concepts, like describing familiar feelings of taste, smell, other things to explain complex ideas. For example, describing how sound vibrations travel, you could say it's like when feeling the intense bass at a concert vibrating in your chest. This next Vox Writing Hack called signposting will show you how to effortlessly keep your viewers watching from beginning to end. Think about those videos where you start out following along perfectly fine, nodding your head, but then somewhere along the way you find yourself in a maze with no exit signs or clear path forward. Vox destroys this problem by building clear signposts into every video, guiding you through exactly where you're headed, what turns are coming up, and why each signpost matters. Let me show you what this looks like. So check out this clip from their video on why AI art struggles to make hands.
This isn't just a weird glitch. The struggle of AI art with hands can actually teach you something bigger about how AI art works.
Notice how they don't jump into straight facts or explanations that can easily get confusing and difficult to understand. Instead, notice how they, number 1, start with a clear problem without overwhelming you with the technical speak, focusing on weird AI hands specifically. And number 2, they promise you that there's a bigger lesson at hand and more value if you keep watching. AKA, the struggle of AI art with hands can actually teach you something bigger about how AI art works. Watch what happens next after the Vox reporter talks to people who've worked with generative art models.
Talking to them helped me figure out 3 big reasons.
Not every reason.
But 3 big reasons that hands are tough for AI art models.
Vox continues to guide you by telling you how many points to expect, the 3 big reasons, and they set up a clear structured roadmap for the rest of the video. Then they tease that there's more to the topic beyond just making these 3 points, making the audience more curious than overwhelmed. Using signposting like this is exactly why Vox's videos are so easy to follow. They're constantly pointing you in the direction of the bigger picture for what you'll want to stick around for. So let me show you how to use the same technique in your videos. It's like planning the perfect road trip. You wouldn't randomly zigzag across several countries or states just because they exist on the map. Instead, you thoughtfully plan out your trip that makes the journey easier and more enjoyable. So first, you'd want to design your content journey. Map out where you want your viewers to start and end, keeping your points focused on leading towards your video's big why. You can do this by building a simple outline of essential points you want to cover, and then cut anything that doesn't feel relevant to the journey. And lastly, keep on teasing why each point matters to maintain engagement. Next, create signposts that connect rather than complicate. This is how Vox connects their ideas so easily with the use of simple one-sentence transitions. Instead of moving on to each point with and then type language, they promise what they're going to cover by saying things like, "This isn't just a weird glitch," or "The struggle with this can actually teach you." So when you're writing your video, here's a formula you can use like Vox to connect your signposts more easily. First, you'd start with the obvious. Great white sharks haven't been in aquariums for a long time. Hint at something bigger, but there's actually an unknown reason for this. And lastly, connect to the bigger theme of the video. And this shows us something important about why some animals can't be contained. And all you have to do is rinse and repeat, and that's it. Now that you know how to help your viewers follow along in your video, let's finish off with the ultimate hack that Vox has used in nearly every single video to get millions of views. When you're watching a movie, do you ever notice how that specific thing that's shown or referenced seems to always show up again later? For example, in Finding Nemo, Dory has short-term memory loss throughout the entire movie. And at first, you'd think it's just for laughs and to create more conflict, but just at the right time, in a perfect twist, she remembers the exact address needed to find Nemo.
Sydney. P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Sometimes this is done by accident, but usually always is done intentionally to keep viewers engaged. This method is called the plant and payoff, meaning, as described in the name of it, you plant a seed of information, and then you pay it off by introducing it again in a meaningful way later on. Let me show you how Vox does this in a few ways and how you can do the same. First, start by planting your seed. The goal here is that we want to plant seeds of curiosity that make our viewers feel like they need and want to know more. To do this, introduce an interesting idea, question, or problem that can become more compelling later on. Think of it as planting a seed in your viewers' minds, one that will grow slowly as the theme of your video unfolds. For example, in Vox's video titled "Why We All Need Subtitles Now," they planted the idea that modern movies and shows are harder to hear. At first, which just seems like a personal annoyance for some people, but the real answer as to why this is runs deeper. During this phase, the seed is now planted in the ground. Now you need to water and nurture it, and you do that by building anticipation. A newly planted seed needs water, sunlight, and time to grow. And in terms of storytelling, this means revisiting the planted idea, expanding on it, and raising the stakes so that viewers stay engaged. Each time you revisit the plant, hint at the payoff and give small pieces of the ultimate solution, but hold back on telling the final reveal of why this thing is so important. In the same video, Vox takes their planted idea, being modern media is difficult to hear, and they build tension by gradually revealing that sound mixing, audio production, and technology shifts are to blame, but they don't drop the full answer just yet. Now, you're finally ready to deliver your payoff. This is the aha moment your audience has been waiting for. That being said, a great payoff isn't just an answer to the question or problem you originally proposed. It's a moment of clarity that makes your viewers rethink everything they've watched from the start of your planted seed, or affirms what they've already been thinking all along. Here are a few ways to create and deliver a satisfying payoff. First, make it feel earned, in which your payoff should reward viewers for following along. Then you want to tie it back to the main theme of your video by showing how this planted idea connects back to the bigger picture. Finally, for any payoff, you need to make sure that it's satisfying, as if you get the feeling of puzzle pieces clicking into place. And in Vox's video, the final payoff comes when they go through the decades of sound design evolution, giving the audience a complete picture of why dialogue is so hard to hear today and why we rely on subtitles more often. Now that we know how Vox uses the plan and payoff method, signposting, and sensory storytelling, there's another expert storyteller you're going to want to learn from. So watch this video where I'll show you how James Johnny has racked up millions of views and how you can easily copy his success.